Donald Trump's first day as the 47th President of the United States saw a seismic shift in the American immigration policy, with the signing of an executive order that overturns the 150-year-long principle of birthright citizenship. Trump has sent the immigrant communities across the U.S. into a tizzy, including and largely, I would say, if not most, the Indian American population. It's not just the Indian American population that's already in the US. Let's talk about the many Indians who are right now nurturing the American dream. Because under Trump's new order, the automatic citizenship of children born in the United States will end. Remember, this is a law that has been in place since 1868. Now, children born to parents who don't have permanent residency or aren't US citizens, read H-1B visa here in India's context, will not be recognized as legal US citizens. The change, set to take effect in 30 days, targets automatic citizenship for children of parents unlawfully or temporarily residing in the country. This means children born to people who are on a temporary visa, could be a student visa, could be a work visa like an H-1B that Indians corner the most of every year, or even a tourist visa, will not be given the status of US citizens. The order will not be applied retrospectively. The move has already been met with intense pushback. At least 22 states in the US and prominent civil rights organizations, including the American Civil Liberties Union, are mounting legal challenges. Beyond the legal challenge, the move also faces formidable constitutional hurdles, requiring a two-thirds majority in Congress and approval from 3/4 of the states to become a law. But the ramifications are already showing, particularly within the Indian American community, a group that is the second largest immigrant group in the US. India also tops the list of H-1B visa recipients, with 72% of total H-1B visas being issued to Indian nationals in 2023. India also sends the highest number of international students to the US. 3.31 lakh students went in 2024. With so much at stake and uncertainty surrounding what's next, the move could even trigger an exodus of talent, with Indian professionals and students maybe choosing other options like Canada or Australia. So the big question we're asking today, with Trump's move, has the American dream ended for Indians? And what are the implications of this? To speak on this, I'm joined today by Pathikrit Pain, Geopolitical Analyst at the Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation. Paresh Karya, CEO of Aquest Advisors, is speaking with us today. Neeti Sharma, CEO of Teamlease Digital, speaks with us as well, as does Jaspreet Bindra, founder of AI and Beyond and Tech Whisperer. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us. Paresh, I'm going to come to you first. Just to get a sense of to what extent is the Birthright Act crucial to the decision-making of talent to go to the US? Because on the face of it, it would seem that you're going to the US because you have a job, you have an opportunity, you want to earn money. This is why people immigrate the world over, right? For a better opportunity. But the Birthright Act, as it existed before it was expunged by Trump, had a special meaning, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're right, so this was especially helpful for people who are going to the US on the F1 visa and then migrating to H1 visa, and if they would have their children, So typically what was happening is earlier it was not so consequential, because once you are on H1B visa, you could easily migrate from H1B visa to green card and then to citizenship. So this problem did not exist. By the time you have your children, you would already be citizens and they would naturally become citizens. But now, of late, we have seen that the migration from H-1B visa to green card has been taken very long. It has taken several years. So we have so many Indians who are on H-1B visa, they got married over there, they've got children who are born over there, and they still continue to be on H-1B visa, right? So their children who are born would obviously, get the citizenship, but they would not get the citizenship. Now, with this move, it seems that the children who are born over there on parents who are on non-immigrant visa may also not get citizenship. So to that extent, it will affect them, right? When it comes to the new people moving over there, this this may not have so much of an impact because all those people who are planning to move there in the US right now on F1B visa or H1 visa, they know what is the situation. It is nearly impossible to migrate to a permanent residency or a citizenship position if you are on a non-immigrant visa. So they know very well when they're planning to move to the US that they will not get a residency or citizenship under the existing rules through the H1B visa. So there are alternatives. We are seeing a lot of people going for the EB5 visa. The EB5 visa is an investment-based immigration program where you invest in the US and you get a green card straight away. And once you have a green card, you can migrate to citizenship.
No, that's right, Paresh. But then the fact is, then if you had the money to invest and then you can go into the US, that's a different profile, right? I started by talking about the American dream. And let's put this into a little bit of context for our viewers. What has been the American dream that Indians have dreamed? Today we look at, and with awe, we love talking about the number of Indian origin CEOs helming some of the top companies in the US. You look at Microsoft, you look at Google. We feel very proud of it, right? The fact is that they all got there to that point, in part, maybe, because of the Birthright Act. And I want to come to Neeti Sharma on this point. Neeti, what does it mean for the talent going there? It becomes less attractive because when you're initially going there, maybe at the starting point of your career, it's hard work. You're slogging it out in the hope of one day moving there and living that dream.
Yeah, so I think absolutely this will have an impact because people who are looking at one person going in and then the entire family going in, and then, residing there for years together, decades together, I think it will definitely make an impact, especially the birthright policy, right? But at the same time, I think, like what Paresh was saying, when the US organizations are bringing in people, they're bringing in people for skilled talent. And I think that's something that both Trump and Elon Musk are calling out very vocally, that they will continue to bring in people who have skills, which would mean that at least for the Indian IT talent, in the short run, I don't see much of a challenge. I think every organization will probably create more local jobs, hire more locally, but of course bring in talent where they're not able to fulfill from their own pool. So yes, I think talent will continue to go. But is the American dream going to change? I think it will. We'll have to change the definition of what the dream is. So far it was I'll go there, settle in, and my life is made. I think that's going to change very clearly.
Maybe what they want. From an entrepreneur's point of view, Jaspreet, let me get your sense. Does this make life a little more difficult for you in terms of finding talent, getting the right talent there? You're on mute, Jaspreet.
Sorry. Nothing that Trump has done on day one, Tamanna, has been unexpected. We've been expecting this since the day he was elected, even before that. This shock and awe tactics that he's using, especially on immigration, because that was the central plank of his campaign. Now, what will it do? I personally think that the American dream is not dead. However, I do think it's on a bit of a pause. I think they will definitely relook at H-1B, the whole program, and see how they can tweak it to suit their interests. Having said that, what I'm sure Trump and his team do not want to do is to kill the golden goose in the US, which is the big tech and the tech industry. And the tech industry, including entrepreneurs or big techs, will face an aging population, face a lack of STEM graduates. They need people from elsewhere across the world. And so I do not see the H-1B visa getting abruptly stopped and therefore the American dream dying. The last thing I would say, Tamanna, is that if there's one thing we've learned about Donald Trump is that he is a transactional president. And so if India, in this case, offers something, like, for example, they'll take 20,000 immigrants back today morning, offers something in return, buy defense equipment, buy more energy, etc., pretty much he will change his mind, much like he did in TikTok and some of the other things which you have seen happening recently.
One sec, who is going to make this offer? Who will make this offer?
Well, it'll be mostly the government. I mean, the government of India. So if you've seen what the 18,000, 20,000 taking back has been the government.
Yeah.
Okay, energy, etc., has been the government. The government clearly, I mean, with every FTA that it is signing or wants to sign, whether with Canada or whether with UK or whether with EU, wants unimpeded flow of its people into those countries. And I think they will probably get into a transactional relationship on this also.
You know, that's where I come to Pathikrit, specifically on this point. From the Indian perspective, do we really have a huge interest in this brain drain continuing unabated? Does it really make, I mean, I'm just trying to understand what's the geopolitical interest for India from the Indian perspective.
Well, Tamanna, we have always ruled for a long period of time that the 1960s, 70s, 80s was a period when brain drain happened because we did not value our talent. At a time when we are a $4 trillion economy, if we keep on celebrating that, oh, our brains are going to United States and following the American dream, I mean, I don't find any novelty in that. Yes, you know, frankly speaking, the American dream is for the people of America. If you as an Indian or somebody else is dreaming the American dream, then you are literally on lease or hire. And you can't expect that, you know, for eternity, you would get that permanent fundamental right that your successive generations would stay there. If I join in a company, I can't expect that my 7 next generations will continue to work over there. So I think it's very clear for India when it's creating the 3rd largest ecosystem for startups, when you have some of the biggest companies of Asia being created in India by the Indians, to presume that Indian government will put all hard and fast rules aside and push everything possible to ensure that more immigrants can go to United States. I don't think that's the priority of the government of India, and I don't think that should be the priority. I mean, I would be very happy to see, yes, the government will also have to do a little more in terms of facilitating industry, in terms of ensuring what are the bottlenecks. But I would love to see more Indians coming back and doing things here. I do not think Donald Trump is talking about a blanket ban. I think Donald Trump is talking about one thing. If you look at the 14th Amendment, 1868, which have been misused, what they say, there have been large number of people who went to United States just to ensure that the next generation takes birth there so that they can get citizenship.
Pathikrit, I agree completely. I mean, birth tourism is something that has been happening from India and from Mexico. You know, you go there in your 5th or 6th month of pregnancy and then you hope you can deliver there and get those rights. A lot of other countries don't give it. But I'm not talking about birth tourism. I'm talking about the H-1B visa recipient, maybe the IIT, IIM graduate who's got a job, gone along with their spouse. They have to wait 100 years to get a green card. Literally, the waiting time is here. Their children are born there. Children become 18. What do? They come back.
So people keep on traveling within this country as well. Tamanna, there is somebody who gets a job in, say, Jamnagar in Gujarat. If he gets a better job, he goes somewhere else. I mean, where is the American Constitution says just because you are an H-1B visa holder and because an Indian you have an American dream, your next 7 generations will be given guaranteed citizenship? There's nothing. It's just an illusion that we have created in our mind. And that is where I have a problem. See, let me tell you, you know, there is this fascination, there is this aura that we have created that, you know, only way you can create success is when you go abroad. I think we need to come out of that. If ISRO can create a world-class organization with frugal engineering, I mean, it can be done here as well.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Pathikrit, but it's not about... This is not about nationalism. I mean, maybe
it's
today...
It's not about nationalism. No. I have stayed abroad for a long period of time, but I never thought that if I was staying in Singapore, then the Singaporean government must and should give me citizenship.
Correct. But it is available in America from the last 150 years. It's the nation is built on immigrants. I want Paresh to come in on this, and I get your point about ISRO. But today, if you tell an aerospace engineer, do you want to work at ISRO or do you want to work at NASA? Let's be honest, many will want to work at NASA. Let's not fool ourselves. Okay. Yes, Paresh, very quickly. Yeah.
Tamanna, I agree with you that, you know, given an option, people, as of situation, they would prefer to work in the US, and that is what the American dream is all about, moving to US, building up a career over there. So if you talk about all those people, you know, the CEOs, etc., from India who have moved there and who are heading the IT companies, they've all moved there on H-1B. But let me tell you, the hindrance to H-1B, India, all the H-1B visa already exists. It's not only the birth. Even people who moved over there 10 years, 15 years back are now struggling to get a green card. They've got this sword hanging on their head anytime they have to, move out of the country if they lose a job. So that impact was already there. The H-1B guys were already finding it difficult to settle over there in the US, to get a residency and then get a citizenship. So in that context, the American dream has become difficult for Indians, not now, but maybe a few years back. We have so many cases. We have so many cases of clients who are there on H-1B, who have got married over there, who are staying over there, who got children born over there. The what difference it will make now is, like you said, is H-1B Indians in US having children born over there. So that those children may not get the citizenship, and that will have a big impact on the future family planning.
No, I mean, I don't know how that it has an impact on the future family planning. The idea is that you move there with your family because you're there for many, many years. It's not something, like you said, 10, 12 years people have been waiting and the wait will continue. Jasprit, I want you to come in on this point, that maybe this should not have been expected in the first place. And that's the point Pathikrit is making. You are going there to work. Why are you expecting your next 7 generations will become citizens of that country?
Much like Pathikrit, I have also spent a long time in the UK and I spent time in India. I think each country has something to offer, which is different from the other country. And I think it's up to many people who go there to kind of take the best from each. I also do think, Tamanna, that this brain drain thing is sometimes overhyped. Think about it. What did this brain drain now? One fashionable way to say it is that, look, all our talent has migrated. They're doing stuff for their country. They're creating these massive businesses there. The same should be done in India. But I would argue that India has actually gained a lot from this brain drain. It's because Indian executives head companies like Google, Microsoft, etc., that we have India becoming such huge, big centers for those. That's one of the reasons why GCCs happen here, why Microsoft has the maximum number of employees outside the US in India, etc., etc. If you look at the startup scenario, most of the VCs, which actually open shop in India, it's the Indian partners in the US who are kind of pushing that and then opening shop here. Number 3 is the remittances. I mean, we know that we had about $100 billion remittance economy. And so I think, in this world, we should not be so worried about where the people are working. I think people should have a choice. They work where it makes best sense for them. And look, if certain countries offer facilities like what US did offer for 150 years, and in my opinion will continue for a while, take it. Certain other countries like Singapore or the UAE do not. You already know that, and therefore you kind of plan accordingly. You take what is available, you don't take what is not, rather than trying to create religious issues about whether people should be here or there. And the different
issues, Jasprit. I don't know. I don't know what religious issues. There's no religious. It's not. There's no religious.
No, I didn't mean religious. I meant like a religion.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a figure of speech.
Okay. Niti, I want to come down to the practicality of it, and let me rephrase that question actually for you. Does all the pain of settling in the US, the hard work that comes with it at entry level, I'm not talking about those who might take investment visas, and we'll come back to Paresh on that as well. Does it become less attractive if there is no citizenship? Then will you maybe see talent moving elsewhere? Globally, that is.
I don't think that's going to happen very soon, Tamanna. Okay, I think especially people who go with the H-1B visa, yes, while the eventuality is that I will probably settle down and get a green card, if that's not happening, and that's going to change, for a large section of Indians who are going to the US on H-1B visa, I think, like I said, I think redefine what your American dream is. Learn from there. Go on, your salaries, make a life. But at some point, if you don't get the green card, optionalities have to be put on the table. I don't think going to the US is going to be less attractive, especially for the younger population who is dreaming of going there, studying there, getting a work visa, working there, because I think the US has a lot to offer in terms of experience, research, infrastructure. There's so much.
But you're saying don't look at settling there, which is what the dream has been so far.
Yeah, and I called it out earlier that maybe we need to redefine what the dream is going to be. for like many decades, the dream has been, I'll go settle down, get my family there, have children, and then it was mentioned 7 generations going to continue there. It may not be the case. And at some point, you never know, this may come back. But I call out that the US is not, I mean, there are a bunch of very smart people. I think the country is doing very well. And Trump and his entire team are calling out continuously that they need talent within the country. So they're not going to pack people off the country just because they have announced something yesterday.
No, they're not going to pack people off. He's in fact said that I want talent, I need talent, but you just don't want to give them rights as a citizen. They're going to be spending. Okay, let me flip it the other way, Paresh, because and immigrant families across India in different countries right now, because we have a huge diaspora, might resonate with this. You go to another country, you spend your best productive years there, you raise a family there, you contribute to the economy, you pay taxes, you buy goods, and then once you're beyond the age of working, you're packed off back. That is something which has made some destinations very unattractive.
Right. Yeah. So let me tell you one thing, so when you are migrating, when you are moving to another country, you need to set your expectations right. So when we talk about in the context of American dream, what happens is initially you go there on a student's visa. You go and study over there. A student's visa, your intention when you are applying for a student visa is that you are going to study in the US and come back. It's a non-immigrant visa. So you know clearly well that when you are applying for the student visa, that is not going to allow you to stay there. You have to come back. Now, after completing your education, you apply for the work visa. You decide that you want to continue to work in the US. You apply for the work visa. You get an H-1B visa. Now, H-1B visa is again a non-immigrant visa. It doesn't give you a right to stay in the US permanently. You know very well that this visa will allow you to only work in the US. There is no way it is guaranteed that you will get, this residency or permanent settlement in the US through this work visa. So why do we set our expectations that we'll move to US and we'll settle over there, will not come back? Right from the day when you know that visa doesn't allow you. So you need to set your expectation right. You need to know now that the F1B visa and H1 visa will not let you stay in the US forever. And accordingly, you need to plan your migration to the US. And if there are, or like I said, there are alternatives available. If you are there in the US, you are working well, you have earned money over there, and you want to continue staying over there, you might as well invest money in the EB5 visa and stay over there.
Currently, what is the investment criteria looking like? What are the costs looking like?
Well, the investment is about $800,000 US. You need to block your money for about 4 to 5 years, and after that, you get your money back. So that is what it is. And there are hundreds and thousands of H-1B visa holders today who are going for the EB5 visa. They knew this was coming and there was a big rush. So most of the guys who are doing well in the US, who have earned the money, they don't want to come back. They want to stay over there, and they know that through H-1B and that they are not getting the green card. So they are opting for the EB5 visa.
And what's the wait time for that visa versus a green card?
Well, the good news is that if you are already in the US with a H-1B visa, you can immediately apply for a work authorization, which you will get in typically 4 to 6 months. And in 4 to 6 months, once you get a work authorization, you are completely independent of the employer. You can work freely anywhere in the US. You can stay there without a job. You can get to do your business over there. So by investing even a partial amount, you can not invest a full money. You invest maybe $300,000, $400,000 immediately. You apply for your work permit. You get your work authorization, travel authorization in about 4 to 6 months, and you are free from your employer. You are as good as an American resident.
So there will always be ways that people will find. They'll find loopholes or they'll find other options. But the fact is that it becomes tougher. Maybe what America is doing is on par with most of the world. There's no doubt about that. But for many Indians, the nature of their American dream has definitely changed. Thank you to all of you for joining us on the show today on this episode of The Big Question. To our viewers, tell us what you think. We'll see you back again, same time, same place tomorrow.